Joining us right now is a man who, after the first week of this NFL season, came on this show, was relaxed, was calm. He said, hey, listen, this ain't a big deal. Relax, everybody. We're going to be okay. And ladies and gentlemen, he showed up on Monday Night Football in a big way. Not only getting a win over the Detroit Lions in front of the beautiful, faithful Cheeseheads at Lambeau, but also covering 11 and a half.
Hell yeah.
My fucking guy, all the way back, ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah!
What's going on, dude?
I feel like at least one of you guys on the show didn't think we were going to cover. Is that right?
That was me. Absolutely. I thought for sure they would score a touchdown at the end, which they almost did to help you guys not cover. But I said the whole time, you will win the game, and you did.
Oh, way to go, AJ. I'm happy you heard that, though, because I thought it was a bit treasonous as well. Aaron, I thought it was a bit treasonous as well out of this guy.
That's all good. I love AJ, and at least he texted me back this week. It's, it's a rarity. So.
That is a real thing. I have trouble with that, too. And he's got to go play in the Ryder Cup right now. He won't even be at work the next 4 days, just like last week where he was at some yuppie event, eh, Rod?
2 days.
He's definitely changing a lot. You've seen AJ at one point tried to kind of hide as like the Homer Simpson, gif where he kind of disappears into the bushes. You thought that was going to be AJ, and now he's out there. I mean, he's a big media guy. He does podcasts. Now he's a big golfer. Anything, he basically, America's guest. Anybody that pays him, north of $350 or maybe a $50 Subway gift card, he's going to be there and show up to your event.
America's guest, AJ Hawk, a man who won the college football national championship, a Super Bowl champion, and he's about to be a Ryder Cup champion somehow. This guy with mangled fingers who can barely hold a golf club. I'm very thankful for him, as I am for you, Aaron. Last night, let's get this thing started. Going into the night, I think you felt pretty good about everything. The offense was very successful in the first half, didn't have much time on the field. Then second half, you really got going. Was there anything different last night that you didn't feel last week, or was it just kind of an entire vibe going into Monday night, you think?
Just halftime adjustments, Pat. Halftime adjustments.
We talked about that last week.
So, it was one of those disjointed first halves again. Like last week, we had really 3 possessions. We scored two touchdowns on those, so we felt good offensively about what we were doing. The biggest drive of the game was obviously coming out of the first half or second half and hitting Devante that kind of got us going. To have our first lead of the season finally changed things. They came down, and we stopped them on 4th and 1 and went down and scored to go up 2 scores, and that's when the game definitely changed from that point. So those were the throw to Tay was probably the turning point in the game. Hit Bobby later on the drive, but that play was the play that got us going.
Hey, what about your throw to Tunyon up the seam for the touchdown? Peyton lost his mind. I was watching the old Peyton cast. Pat was on there. That throw obviously seemed perfect, and the linebacker's back was turned. Do you feel like if a guy's back, if his head is looking away, then it doesn't matter how tight he is, like he's open, you can put it somewhere?
Yeah, if I can see his numbers, I feel like our guy's open, just because it gives you a lot of different places to throw the football. Over the top, back shoulder, kind of over the guy's shoulder if you want. You can put a little air on it at the safety. The safety is a little wide on the play, so I was really just looking at the release of Bobby, and then what the safety did. I had Devante one-on-one backside, was really where I wanted to go pre-snap. They were playing some two-shell, but the safety wasn't necessarily getting a ton of width at the snap, even though they're playing outside leverage on Devante for much of the game in kind of a double. But at the snap, the safety kind of moved slightly to his left, so then I looked to the front side to Bobby, and that safety stayed outside wide. So I knew I had a good chance at putting the ball on Bobby, and I threw it kind of exactly where I was hoping to.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, kind of exactly. Watching Peyton react to that ball, it was awesome because Peyton was a guy timing. Everything had to be exactly where the routes had to be practiced, and that was like his thing. Like, hey, I'm going to drop it in this bucket. Watching him react to that laser beam that you put to Big Bob Tunyon was awesome. As you're throwing that ball, are you thinking to yourself, oh, there's like fucking 3 humans in the history of Earth that can make this throw that I'm about to do right? Do you think about that, or is that not even in there? It's just like everybody's open because I can put it wherever the hell I want. Do you even think about that at all, or no?
No, Pat, I don't think that there's only a few humans who can make this throw right before the throw. I might be thinking I've made this throw before, which I have made those types of throws before. But really, it's about the release. Once I see the release and feel that based on his body movements that he's going to be in the spot where I think he is, it's just a matter of putting the ball in a tight spot. But that's it's throws that we work on, throws I've hit over the years. It just comes down to footwork. I said after the game, I don't feel like I was throwing the ball often enough on rhythm in week one, and so that's what I was focusing on last week in practice. And that throw was this 3 in the gun, tight hitch throw that when I am in rhythm and on balance, those are throws I expect to make, regardless of how tight the window is.
Immediately after the game, you had an interview on the field talking about the Lions defense and what happened in the first half, second half, and everything like that. As we were watching the Manning cast, Peyton and Eli, all they were talking about is, they're in cover 2. They are just daring Aaron to run the ball. They're saying that Aaron is going to get bored. Aaron's not going to be able to just be patient with this entire thing. That's what the defense is saying. And Peyton and Eli weren't saying that you were going to give in to the temptation, but he just thought that's what the defense is continuing to show. And then you got one-on-one with Devante. You drop it in the bucket, then that Bob Tunyon thing comes immediately after that. How hard is that to kind of sit back and just be like, all right, Aaron Jones, this is going to be a big-time night for you until we can open this thing up? Or is that just, you just have to view it as, this is this week's challenge in this whole thing?
Excuse me. So sorry to interrupt. Hey! Did you know at the age of 30, your testosterone levels start dropping 1% per year? Wow! That means you're gonna get fatter, more tired, and lose the strength that you once had. But no worries, our friends at Roman have the perfect product for you. So you can get back to banging weights, banging humans, and living your best life. $15 off right now. Get Roman.com/USA. Back to the action. Hey!
Well, I think it's the way the league is trending. The trends on defense, the fads, as we've seen over the years, have gone usually from split safety to single safety. And split safety when I first got in the league, single safety with San Fran and Seattle's defense, Legion of Boom. For so many years, and then their coaches obviously branched off and went to a bunch of different places, and that became the defense around the league. And now it's kind of this Rams defense, which is a lot Rams Saints-ish, a lot more combo coverages, too high, quarters on one side, halves on the other, and you got to be patient with the run. So that's just the way it goes. We saw it back in 2011. I think we were really, really rolling. Very few teams wanted to play us in single safety. But when they do, you got to make them pay, and you have to have also stuff for the two high defenses you see as well. But on that third down, they rolled the one high kind of late, and Devante had a one-on-one. I put it in a good spot. He made a great catch.
Hey, what about their head coach, Dan Campbell? Do you have any good interactions with him, either pregame, postgame, and the rest of the staff? I mean, a lot of those guys have been players for a while. Do you get to chat with them?
Unlike you, AJ, I like to wear my knee pads on my knees, so I feel like that was the first line.
What?
Was that definitely that? But no, I didn't see him. I saw 3 of my former teammates who I love. Tim Boyle was backup for 3 years. Love Tim. He's an awesome guy. He broke his thumb. He's recovering, but he's a special guy. Jamal Williams, who played with us for 4 years. Jamal, you just can't replace that type of energy and that enthusiasm and love for the game. Not to mention he's a great player. And then Geronimo Allison, I saw him after the game as well. Just a guy who brought so much energy and excitement, enthusiasm to our team and our locker room. Just a great human. Just fun to see those 3 guys for sure.
When Jared Goff got loose last night, a couple times Jared Goff got loose out there. One ran right into you, basically. How's that interaction go? Did you say, wow, surprisingly faster than I think everybody thought? Or would you tell him not to pull anything? Or how does that normally go when you're on other sidelines and when people come to your sideline?
It just depends. Sometimes they're friendly, sometimes they're not. Based on where we're at in the game, we're up by 3 scores. Jared's a Cal guy, so I gotta, I'm repping my Adam Duras County Crows shirt today.
Oh, of course.
Of course. You don't know, you probably don't even know who Adam Duras is, but he's the lead singer, and they're back on tour. And Adam used to actually, he would be singing the winning song in the locker room with us in college, so I got to know him a little bit. Anyway, Jared went to Cal. There's
in the locker room with you?
Mr. Jones?
Oh, yeah.
Quite a lot of us in the league. Are you just randomly naming? Can you name any other song on August and Everything After?
Around here, dude, of course.
Yeah,
Lone December.
You're in Fed line there now?
Yeah. Shout out Zito. Shout out Zito.
Yeah. Good job, guys.
Yeah, thank
But
you.
no, he busted out a couple times. They ran a read option with him where he pulled it. He had a scramble. We had nobody vision the football, and he ran for like 30 yards. I mean, it's fun to see the slower. You watch Lamar the other night, right? He's so dynamic. It's unbelievable. Like the one run he had where he literally like went between jukes. It looked like Barry Sanders, and I grew up watching Barry Sanders. I love Barry Sanders. It looked like him just making guys miss. For us, like slower, white guys, every time we bust off a run for like 5 yards, I feel like, man, I just, I had a couple last night where we had some holding on the defense, and I was like, make sure I get those rushing yards. I mean, I had 6 yards, I think, last night on 4 carries. So I was a little jealous of Jared for sure, but happy to see him, bust out and get some rushing yards.
Hey, when you catch him with 12 guys on the field, what is that? I know Peyton and Eli were trying to diagram a little bit. Do you have a feel when they have too many and they're trying to sub and they just have like a go-to and all of a sudden you get to run a play?
Yeah, it just depends on the substitution patterns. And
It looked like you stopped Tunyon. You signaled him to stay on the sideline. It looked like one of them.
Well, I think some of that's competitive advantage, so I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I do.
It was on the game copy.
I did a quick count, so I went to 10 real quick on my hands, and then 1, 2 on my forearm here. So I was like, they got 12. Let's get them. And luckily, I went to Old Faithful Randall Cobb on 2 of those actually, which is pretty cool.
Talking about the sleeve, Peyton talked about this with Jared Goff at the beginning of the game. And it's been fascinating to listen to them talk because I assume it is very similar to how you would watch a game and everything like that. He talked about how whenever you have that sleeve, basically you're getting relayed a number, and then like Goff's getting relayed a number, then he reads it. And normally when you know an offense, as soon as the play's coming in, he said he liked to visualize the play as it's coming in, then he reads it to the huddle, and then now, boom, we're all off and running. When you're reading it off your armband, it's just like you're not really getting a chance to visualize it until you're walking up to the line of scrimmage. You still have the armband on. Is that just something that you guys change and add weekly, or is that you got the offense is just so big you still have to have some reminders in there? And are you comfortable completely in this LaFleur system now, year 3, obviously?
I'm definitely more comfortable for sure, but I'll say this. The thing I loved about watching Peyton and Eli in the second half, the first Monday night game, was damn near everything they said was the truth. Was exactly how most quarterbacks think and watch games. It was really, really fascinating. So I'm not sure what happened last night. I know, your crazy ass was on there. And I'm sure you did, where you were repping for the brand and probably talking Indianapolis, this and that, and, basically stealing the show. But I will say that, when you have the wristband, it does make a big difference, because the thing I used to always love was being able to hear the play, and as you're calling it, you are visualizing exactly what you want. And something's coming to mind, either a play from practice, a play from the film, something you maybe visualized the night before during the week about how you wanted that play to play out. When you're reading off the wristband, it is different, because then that time changes to that quick couple seconds when you do break the huddle, where usually when you're breaking the huddle, for me, you're thinking about adjustments to the play, stresses in the protection, or slight changes in routes you might want to make depending on the coverages. So it does change, I think, that whole dynamic. However, we have to do it. It's necessity, because plays in this offense are so long. And in the old system, and even in college, if we had more than 7 signals on a play, it would go to the wristband. With Mike, there were very few plays that we ever needed that, just because we would cut down on verbiage so much, and we're in the same system for so long, we just didn't necessarily need to have one. In this system, we have to have it, because there can be 15 words to a single play.
Are you still evolving in this offense, you think, though? Like, you still have a lot of room to go, or do you think you have a pretty good grasp on it, even though, like at this point?
I have a good grasp on it, for sure. I think the offense itself can evolve. It has to evolve. Every offense has to evolve. But I've got a great grasp of it. But I need the wristband, because if one word gets cut out, or if he pushes the button too early before he starts talking, or whatever might happen, if one or two words are off, and I say I need it again, then we're talking about another 5 seconds, and it just slows you down getting to the line of scrimmage. So it's much easier to say, hey, 22 or whatever, or 22 flip, whatever it might be. Then you got to. Then there's 5 underlined words on here. You got to flip. Right goes to left, protection one side goes to the other side, run one side goes to the other side, motion goes to the other. It's like it's gymnastics that it takes a little bit of learning curve, but we got it.
No, you're just a dumb jock, though. Remember that. Don't ever forget it. Go ahead, Ty. What do you have?
Aaron, we've talked ad nauseum about how no matter what you do, there's always going to be detractors and people talking shit. And it was like that this whole week leading up to the game. And then last night, even, going into halftime, you're 11-13 or whatever with, 2 touchdowns. You look great, and people are still picking apart and, trying to dance on your grave or whatever. And you alluded to it in your post-game presser, how, I'm not necessarily going to respond, but, I see what everyone's been saying. Are there any people, at this point, do you know who's kind of in your corner? Do you ever see stuff and it's like, oh, shit, I can't believe this guy's, got something, some sort of issue with me? And does it piss you off? I saw a lot of people were saying that you didn't care until the Tanyan throw last night. That's when it clicked and it's like, oh, okay, we can see he cares again. Is it one of those things where that's still just outside noise and you don't give a shit, or is it what the fuck are these guys talking about?
I tell you, it's a combination of both. I mean, on one hand, it's absolute horseshit to give a platform to people who have no idea what they're talking about as far as my mental state and my focus, my work habits, people that have not been around me, they're not in my life, I don't have communication with them, or not in the locker room. I mean, that's just it's chicken shit. It's so ridiculous that people get a platform to do this, and it's the same type of people. On the flip side of that, I think in this day and age of media, the things that get the most, it's all about clicks, right, and hits and views, and 1 second counts as a view. So the actually opinions that are garnering the most attention are the most outlandish. So it's not even overreaction Monday or Tuesday anymore. It's overreaction every time a microphone's in your face, every time you have a single shot in the camera and you get to talk to camera, every time you're on a panel. It's who can say the most outlandish things, because that's going to give you the most hits. That's the media we live in. That's fine. But at the same time, I still have this show. I have my weekly stuff. I mean, most people, don't use their platform to defend themselves. I don't think I need to defend myself from people who aren't worth spending time on. But I'm always going to give a reminder that listen to the source, of some of these things, and be reminded that it's often the same people in the same tired rhetoric. I was just surprised after week 1 there was such a story out there. But what's crazy to me is to let one storyline, right, by a person who has no contact with me, has zero relationship, to that becomes some sort of narrative that's out there that now I somehow don't care about ball because of my Zen attitude in the off season. That's the bullshit I was talking about last night. And I think that regardless of what happens this season or how we do moving forward, we have a tough schedule. There's going to be some ups and downs for sure. We're a team that's, finding our identity slowly, as always happens throughout the year. But the trolls are out there, I get it. But the truth and fact should not be replaced by conjecture, ill-founded conjecture. And when it is, then I'm thankful for this opportunity and for my pressers to be able to say, hey, look, just think about who's saying these things.
Woo! Yeah! Hey, that was a big fuck you. I enjoyed that. Hey, I want to let you know I enjoyed that there. Well articulated. Obviously, you did the whole thing. You did a State of the Union almost in the world we live in. But it needs to be said, and I appreciate the hell out of that. I'm sorry, AJ. Go ahead. That was awesome. That was a great question, Ty.
Good question, Ty. Yeah, how has that changed, though, from when you got in the league till now? Has it changed, and how does it feel different from how the media is or how you guys interact with the media?
It's way different age because I think all these people who are on these shows now believe they're celebrities, and they believe that they have this platform to, use it to say whatever the hell they want. And that's how they garner the attention. That's how they get promotions. That's how they get to be on multiple networks. That's how they, get their name out there and get a blue check mark and get to go to the Met Ball and whatever the hell's going on. You know what I mean? It's like, that's the society we're in now. It's when I first got in the league in 2005 and you got in there in 2006. I mean, social media wasn't a thing unless you had a MySpace, and it was all about who was your top 5 or top 10 if they expanded it, what kind of music you had in the background. And it wasn't about, your social media following, your likes, your, how many views on a page. I think it's different. It's all about how many impressions you can have for things that you say. So what's going to, it's not going to be the relax, we're fine, this is 1 week, it was a dud, we're going to bounce back. That doesn't do anything. That doesn't move the needle for anybody. But you start saying some outlandish things about, what I did in the off season and me wanting to be on Jeopardy and not play ball and all this other, ridiculousness that Tom Fanning, told me was out there, which I really didn't see myself. I think that's the state of the media that we're in.
How about Tom, by the way? Tom from MySpace. He was everybody's friend.
man.
He's a great photographer. Have you ever run into him in any of your adventures? I think he's like a world traveler photographer now, our friend Tom.
No, but I'm big fan. He was one of my first friends.
Me too, man. He never responded, though. I sent him a couple messages. Son of a bitch would never respond. It was absolutely unbelievable. I love that you're kind of addressing the state of the world. Can I talk to you about right after the national anthem, there was a flyover. Was that the biggest fighter jet you've ever seen in your life? Was that thing a 53 1/3 wide? And then that moment of you and Devante dapping each other up made me very comfortable with everything I'd been saying about the team. It felt like the team had a different vibe going into that. So just a couple questions in one there. Was that the biggest jet you've ever seen do a flyover? And what was the vibe going into the game? Felt like you all were kind of on the same page, like last week was just a big fuckery here.
I don't know if it was the biggest jet I've ever seen do a flyover, but it was pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
To not have that for a year and not have the fans and the energy. There's something that always gets me, regardless of how I'm feeling, physically, mentally, but intros. And it was defensive intros last night, so I didn't get to run out there. But the juice that you get and the electricity that goes through your body when you're introduced, it changes the whole dynamic inside your body. And I think we kind of needed that as a team, that energy from the crowd last night to kind of get us going. It wasn't that we weren't confident. It was just, I think we needed to just prove to ourselves again. And this might sound like a crazy statement, but I do believe this. I think you need to learn how to win every single year again. And that nothing carries over from year to year. There's mindset, there's culture, there's environment. I think that the structure that's carried over, but the team is different. And I think each team needs to relearn how to win and how to deal with adversity every season. And we didn't handle it well the first week, and yesterday we handled it well. We came in the locker room. There wasn't a freak out. I think we all kind of realized, look, we had 3 possessions. We scored on 2 of them. Let's take the lead for the first time this season. Let's play from a lead. Let's get a couple stops, and we'll be fine. So I am proud of our guys in that respect, because I feel like we just kind of stuck together. And as far as the confidence-wise with Devante, I mean, how do you not have confidence? I told him this last night in the bench, and I really believe this. As great as he was last year, and he was spectacular, I think he's a better player this year. I really do. I mean, you look at I was just watching the clip of his first catch of the night last night. He literally ran a stick route. He ran 5 yards and stopped. And I threw it to him. The backer flew over the top. And he turned upfield, and nobody touched him. And he went 12 yards after the catch. It was a 17-yard play. And I was just like, and then you add on the catch that he had when I threw it super high over the middle that he made, and just, down the sidelines, he just makes it look so easy. And, he retorted to me last night. He said, we're just getting started. And I believe that.
Well, I think Ty Schmidt actually just, there's a little, there's a little frosting that just came out over there. That was
Changed
great.
my underwear.
I heard Andrew Luck tell T.Y. Hilton one time, and I think I was I was probably eavesdropping in this conversation, but the way they liked playing football with each other. Like, that was something like, hey, I like playing football with you. And they had this incredible connection, and I think Tom Brady has that with Gronk. Is that how you feel with Devante? Like, you just enjoy playing, not that you don't with everybody else, but I feel like there's a special connection that comes between some of those relationships between quarterback and wide receiver. And in the end, it's like, I like playing football with you. Like, it's a lot of fun doing that.
Well, how can you not? I mean, the guy makes you look great every single week. So how can you not? I care so much, as opposed to what was said last week. I do care so much, but I care so much about the people, about the person and not just the player. And when I see a guy growing as a person, 99% of the time translates to a guy growing on the field. And Mike used to say this all the time. When he was in Green Bay, he used to say, your best players got to be your best people. And when you do that, you can create a culture, player-led team, and leadership in the right way, authentic leadership. And I'm as thankful as I am to throw it to 17 every single week. I'm just as thankful about the type of guy that he is and the way that he leads, the way he conducts himself, the type of professional that he is. Just his whole countenance and demeanor and charisma. That to me is what it's all about. A superstar player who can do all those other things and is a good person. And, for that, I'm obviously really thankful for DA.
You guys are pretty good.
Hey, how important is it for you guys to like each other, for teams and locker rooms to actually get along and hang out off the field and do all of that? You can't put a stat on it, but Pat and I talk all the time like, hey, the best teams love being around each other and hanging out on and off the field.
Yeah, we used to say back in 2010, the team that drinks together wins together.
Yeah. Yep.
And that team got after it for sure.
We hung out more than in most other years, don't you think, that year?
I 100% agree with that. And it was the personalities, though. It's you bring together Josh Sitton and a TJ Lang as young players, Brian Balaga as a rookie. Then you got the old heads, Cliffy and Tausch and Driver and Woodson, and the young up and coming guys like Greg Jennings and Jordy Nelson and James Jones. And just the way that we all vibed together was really special. Then you add the wild cards like Tom Crabtree. You got those glue guys, Howard Green, I think about, BJ Raji. The first way that we did love each other was special. And again, because Age, that was not our best team talent-wise by any stretch of the imagination, but it was a really close-knit group.
Yeah, I had a quote. I mean, the team that drinks together wins together sounds a lot better than mine. I said team comes, you get it, a lot closer together around a keg than they do kale.
Yeah.
Like as the nutritionist came into the world, it was protein shake time. I'm like, all right, I think we should just have a keg, though, just one time right down yonder. I think we'll learn a lot about each other. Back just very quickly. I think we'll learn a lot about each other right over there. It's a new world, though, Aaron. It's a new world now. You can't do that. It's not healthy.
No? You're a big kale guy now, huh?
Well, I smoke kale.
The tank tops? You don't need sleeves to kick ass or what?
Yeah, well, I tell you what, Aaron, I said this last night and I'll say it again. Tank top's perfect for if you got a little bit of a gut, but you want to do your arms, tank top makes you look good. You know what I mean? Everybody thinks I'm in shape. I'm not. I am sloppy, but this tank top makes me feel good, just like Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays do. We're talking to Aaron Rodgers. Connor, your question, sir?
Yeah, Aaron, what was the thought on the post-game sombrero? Because it looked electric, and will you be getting a few more for, Devante and some of the other guys on the offense?
Great question. Every time that we have Monday night, there's ESPN Deportes, and John Sutcliffe, who's worked there for a long time, has become a friend of mine, and he's also a tequila supplier for me. So it's he always brings something silly, with him, and we did a post game, and he had the sombrero, and he wanted me to either wear it or give it to Aaron Jones or something, and I got Devante to rock it on the way out because I was asking him to wait for me because we were so late. I was talking with Tim Boyle after the game for a long time, and Gmo and Jamal, and by the time I got to Lisa, I was like, man, I want to get in here. And then John was still there, so we did that interview, and he was trying to get me to speak some Spanish, which last time I did, it wasn't very great. So it wasn't very good. So I kind of, my English wasn't very great either, but I was trying to keep it to a minimum. But then he brought the sombrero out, then he brought some tequila out, and it was awesome.
Yeah, hey, are you doing a mustache right now? I mean, if you go with that hair, mustache, sombrero.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, let's go. We're winning the Super Bowl. I mean, immediately, dude.
I don't think so. I have a month-ish until Halloween, and this has been a year in the making for my costume. I'm not going to give it away.
Wow.
But it's somebody who is a hero of mine who has, long-ish hair.
Scott Stapp, that's awesome. We're talking to Aaron Rodgers here. We're talking to Aaron. Before we get to the incredible Aaron Rodgers book club that has captivated people that I would have never imagined, and those people would be the people that listen to this show. I had no idea we had readers listening. I am honored to be a part of that. Before we get to that, I would like to ask you, though, you pushed Joe Dirt last night. What if he turns around, okay, and do you remember this? There was a little bit of a scrum. You push old buddy. I thought you were potentially going to get like a taunting call out of that thing. What happens if he turns around and squares up on you? Are you throwing hands with Joe Dirt immediately in the backfield there?
No, I don't think so. That's not a great matchup for me. So I like to, I wouldn't go down easy for sure. I'd definitely put up a solid fight. But no, I think it's fun sometimes in those moments to give a guy a little bit of a shove or something. They don't expect it's you. So lots of them, they'll spin around real quick and they'll see it's you, and then you laugh. It's like bringing some, a little bit of humor to a tense situation. Everybody's like, oh, this guy's pushing me, so I got to push him back. And and there's a lot of fun moments on the field. Like sometimes you kind of give a guy a little bit extra shove, and they whip around real quick, and they look at you like, oh, come on, man. And I'm just. And I'm like, come on, man, chill out a little bit. It's just football.
That guy did not turn around, by the way. You pushed him, and he just walked off. You probably saw it on Jumbotron. I hate that guy, is what he said. And that's what MCDC wants over there, by the way. He doesn't want any laughing with Aaron Rodgers.
You know what? I told him on the field, we ran up, I think it was the first possession of the game, and he was kind of eyeing me or whatever. And so I just kind of, touched my flow a little bit. And, he did say something. He gave me a nice comment about my hair. Obviously, he has one of the best, manes in the entire game.
Can we say his real name for God's sake?
Something that Clay would be really jealous.
Fox, he's the captain of the defense.
Fox.
What is the guy's name?
No
Evan Fox,
idea.
Detroit Lions fan?
Jesus.
Well,
Wow. Defense
Fake
this
fan,
year.
fake fan,
Oh, my
fake
God.
fan.
This guy's the captain of your team.
He's a good player.
He's a good player.
He's a very good player.
He flies around. That hair comes flying out there.
Look like Bobby Carpenter out there.
Yeah, he did look a little
he
bit
wishes.
like
Oh, is that a Bobby truck?
Yeah, do you know General Bob? You know him pretty well, right?
Yeah, he's a great wedding singer.
I saw him at an event, and he grabbed that microphone a lot. I did not hear him sing, but I heard him cut about 7 to 8 promos that I never thought would come out of somebody's mouth in public. And he was forced out there by AJ, obviously, and he just went right up. That guy has zero fear. I absolutely love it. Let's get into the thing that has captivated, people that I don't think would ever think that they'd be captivated in. Maybe they put their reading glasses away for decades, maybe, and you reminding them that reading is a good thing has really gone over well. Where Men Win Glory was last week's book. Pat Tillman's story, behind the scenes tales, and what John Krakauer was able to do with this book is something that people are always going to be proud of. This guy writes good books, and his story is an amazing one. What should we look forward to for the next week here on the Aaron Rodgers Book Club, Mr. Aaron Rodgers?
Before I get into that, I need to ask you, where are you getting your cliff notes from? Who is somebody on the staff? One of the fellas putting together. I mean, you didn't actually mention anything that was written in the book, but I know the first week you didn't read The Alchemist. I mean, not the whole thing. So I'm sure somebody filled in some of the gaps there. You got, chasing your personal legends, which is great. But no, let me just say this, since you won't answer my question.
I follow Paulo, dude. All right, The Alchemist has changed my life completely. I mean, I have the book. Look, page is still marked. I told you this. He ran his fingers slowly over the stone. I mean, I've been getting into it. Never read a book. First time, Aaron Rodgers Book Club. This is what it's all about. This is what it's all about.
Hell yeah.
Connor does read it, though, and does give me a little bit of a heads up. He was not able to finish this book yet, so I wasn't able to give you a bullshit thing there, but we will get there eventually, and I think maybe a lot of people are doing that. What's the next book in line here?
Thank you, Connor. Before I get into that, I do want to say one of the cool things about this is giving the people a glimpse at some of my favorite books and also encouraging people to read. It has got the attention of those authors. So follow the author of The Alchemist, like, had a bunch of tweets that, out about it, which is really awesome, I think. And then last week, when I highlight Where Men Win Glory, which is, just one of a number of amazing books by Krakauer, he reached out to me on social media, which was amazing. I've always been a fan of his work, and so that's like a cool latent, benefit of this whole thing. And hopefully people are enjoying it. And look, I have a ton of books that I love, but I also have a book stack of about 30 that I want to get to. And it keeps getting added to. Every time I go to Barnes & Noble, I go, I want to read this book. And it just goes in a stack that keeps growing and growing and growing. So I'm not like reading a book a week, but it's like some cool books that I think you can enjoy. So this week's book is an oldie but a goodie. One for a long time was on the reading list for, I believe, either late elementary or junior high. This book still stands up. I don't know why AJ's laughing. This book still stands up.
Well, he said something terribly toxic right in the middle of your entire thing. He snuck it in so you couldn't hear him, actually. He tried to take down not only the book
Let
club,
him finish, man.
the whole
Let
show.
him finish. This is a thing.
No,
This is
he's a
segment.
scumbag.
Yeah.
You are a scumbag. We will kick you out of the Aaron Rodgers book club,
What did
pal.
he say? What did he say?
Nothing.
Get him out.
I commented on the possible books that you're trying to get to.
Yeah, all right.
Just go. I want to hear this book. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Go to hell, dude.
Kick him out. All right, jeez.
Get him out. Just go two-shot. Go two-shot.
Go to two-shot. Good. I'll sit here and watch. Go to a two-shot. I'm good.
Yeah, mute his mic, too.
Smoke
Jeez.
my cigar without Aaron yelling at me.
What shirt are you wearing, by the way? What is
Jesus. I know who that is. One of the greatest American guitarists ever lived, bud.
that? Okay. So I don't know where I was at. Anyway, this book was on reading list when I was growing up. It still stands up. It's, in my opinion, super relatable to what we're going through as a society now. When I read it, it had a black cover. They've re-released it with a new cover, but it's The Giver by Lois.
Oh, my God. I love this book.
All-timer.
Yeah.
This one's good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fantastic book. Like I said, I read it again probably for the fourth time like a year ago, and it's an easy read. It's like I think it's a little under 200 pages, but it's a really quick, easy read. Phenomenal book about kind of a dystopian society and people that feel a little different. Really one person, I guess, in general, and his interaction with the giver, who is a character in the book. So it's an easy read. It's a great book. Again, I usually read nonfiction, but I've now highlighted 2 out of the 3, Pat, as you know, fiction books. But The Giver by Lois Lowry, fantastic book.
That's awesome. I can't thank you enough. Sorry, AJ tried to take down the whole show and the book club, but I can't wait to get back into The Giver. I do believe I had to act like I read that book before, right?
Oh,
that
yeah,
is something
definitely.
that I've had to act
Yeah.
like before, so I'll be able to get refreshed on that, and I will actually read it. Expectation for how long that thing should take me to read, you think?
It depends. If you're doing 30 minutes a night, I think you should be able to read it in a week.
Perfect. I just heard there's a movie too. I won't watch that because the book is always better, especially if it's in the Aaron Rodgers book club. Congrats on getting the win. Shout out to the Counting Crows. Mr. Jones is a heater. Can't wait to see what you do this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers. What's your fucking problem?
We got to get to a break, don't
You're
we?
a
That was-
dirtbag.
What is your problem though, dude?
What did I do? Be quiet. What did I do?
You be
what
quiet.
did you
That's
do?
what you need to
You
do.
fucking know.
We're back. We're back in 4 minutes, all right? We got to get out of here. The
Good.
show's probably already taken down because old Chuck Berry, AJ Hawkins.
Yeah.
God. It's unbelievable.
I don't know why you guys have this issue with Chuck Berry. I listen to his music. Who cares?
You have never heard a song of his. You've only seen his videos, pal. All right?
I
And
just-
we
I
all
told
know
you.
it.